Hey, what's up, TC students of FCC? I'm so glad that you are here with me on this Sunday morning, and I just wanted to take this time to give you a quick little devo and something to think about for today and for the rest of the week. And one thing that I was doing recently, and I'm sure most of you have as well, is I've been on social media a lot, and not only trying to get you guys things, but just kind of seeing where the world's at and the things that are going on. And one thing that I noticed is that there are a lot of people arguing with each other and fighting with each other and just being nasty with each other through these social media outlets, and specifically about what the government should do or shouldn't do, or just everything that is happening right now with the world. There's a lot of people arguing. Now, on the one end, like, it doesn't surprise me because there are a lot of people who we're friends with and stuff on social media outlets that they aren't necessarily Christians. So seeing that argument and fighting and disunity doesn't really surprise me. But one thing that really hurts me and kind of breaks my heart is that these are Christians that are the ones arguing the most. And it's Christians that are at each other's throats talking about, here's what we should do, here's what we shouldn't do. People really arguing that if you are wearing mask or not wearing a mask, if you're leaving your house and if you don't leave your house. And there's just so much division right now amongst Christians. And this really got me thinking about how this should not be. We are called to be united. We see it all throughout the New Testament. We see Jesus calls us to be united and to be one front, but we're letting things of this world come in and cause us disunity. And one verse that I ended up remembering about is a verse that we use a lot, but I think we focus on different aspects of this passage. But the one thing I really want to focus and hone in on is exactly about these kinds of things that we are doing. And it's in Ephesians chapter 6, and this is verse 12. It says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers of this darkness, against evil spiritual forces in the heavens." And the reason why I bring that up is, in times like this, that we end up constantly arguing and constantly fighting with each other about things that honestly we shouldn't be fighting about. This is a time that we should be unified and we should be coming together, supporting one another, showing love to one another, but instead we're arguing. And Paul wants to sit here and remind us, because the church in Ephesus was struggling again, with this unity, and Paul wanted to bring them back and say, hey guys, listen, here's what's important. What's important is that we remember where our struggle is. Our struggle isn't with me or with you or with our family members or with our friends. It's not against flesh and blood. It's against Satan. It's against his schemes. It's against the spiritual forces. That is the real war that we're up against. It's not against each other. Yes, Satan may use people and use some of us to carry out his bidding. And yes, some of us may fall into those traps and fall into those temptations, but still the fight isn't here. It isn't on this earth. The bigger fight, the most important fight, is the one that we can't see, and it's in the spiritual realm. So I want to encourage you guys that as you are trying to weigh all this out and trying to see where you stand and what's going on, to remember that we are not to be fighting with each other. We are to be united, and we are to continue to fight against Satan and his schemes, and think of ways instead of how we can encourage one another, how we can lift one another up, how we can pray for each other, and how we can serve one another. Remember that is the core of TC students, that this life is not about me, and that we're going to live a life sacrificially like Jesus did. So let's make sure that we quit this kind of arguments, and especially on social media where the whole world sees Christianity and sees the Christianity lens on social media. Let's not continue showing people that Christians fight. Instead, let's show them how united we are in Christ. So I hope that's something you guys can continue to think about, pray about for this day, for this week, and honestly for the rest of your lives. Thank you so much for being here. And we're actually going to continue this kind of conversation on Wednesday night live for Wednesday Night Youth Group. Gary and I will be starting a new series called Us for Them. And it's going to really start talking deeper into this kind of thought process of how we are to be united and how we are for people and not against them. So I hope you guys will check that out Wednesday night at 7 right here on our YouTube channel, and make sure that you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out a thing. Have a good morning, everybody. We'll see you.